Hello, hello, beautiful friends. It's Isabella here, and I have an impromptu live with my great colleague Ahmed Khalid that is joining me from Riyadh, from Saudi Arabia. And we're actually had a conversations with a bunch of people, not only in Clubhouse but in different settings. And I want to just address something that we feel it's super hot topic, which is how we really portray and see soft skills versus essential skills. And the funny thing is, I'm sure you all can relate to it, that a lot of times people are thinking about soft skills such as communication, self-motivation, leadership, teamwork, problem solving, and many other aspects of it as a soft skills. But reality, guys, is those are essential skills. Wouldn't you agree, Khalid?
Totally agreed with you, Isabella. And I think most people, especially inside the corporate life, they think too much about the technical background and they ignore the fundamentals of the soft skills. And I do believe that soft skills, it is the fundamental and essential skills that you have to focus on it if you want to grow either inside the corporate life or in your life.
Brilliant. And I'm so glad you're highlighting that. As both of us, obviously educators and trainers and impacting people on different level, what I'm finding, we can go all the way back to education, right? No matter which culture and which part of the world we grew up in, I wish, and we all wish, that we started early. And how many of us are learning over time, not only about healthy team dynamics, of this difficult problem solving and conflict solving, right? How to also be very flexible and supportive, how to make better choices and decisions. I mean, we can go on. And I really strongly believe we should definitely look at things as essential skills, because those skills are right now more than ever what we're seeing glaringly, obviously showing who is not capable to communicate. Just by us talking, that doesn't mean we're communicating, right?
Exactly, Isabella. As I told you, it's all about how you listen, how you think, and how you speak. Because if you don't have these three things in your life, I do believe that you will lose a lot of communication and you'll not be able to convey your message. You'll not be able to present. You'll not be able even to grow. So fundamentals of communication, it's listening and how to say a story, how to tell a story, how to tell your stories, how to create something very compelling between you and connected with your audience, with anyone. So communication, again, it's the fundamental. It's fundamental. And I used to be like not that good communicator in my life, but once I realized that communication, it's the most compelling thing that you can work on it in your life, because it will open up many things and many opportunities in your life. Communication, again, it's essential.
I am so glad you are seeing that, and then you made a tremendous shift. But then also we're seeing something that is happening right now, not only just because of the events that we're in, but a lot of people lost something that is really important, which is that motivation and self-motivation. It's hard to motivate someone if they don't have self-motivation elements and they don't understand what that is, what certain things and condition needs to be in place to make them self-motivated so that they can also be motivated in working environments. What do you think about that?
Look, self-motivation, I think it's an inner game. It's not an outer game.
Yeah.
So how you think about the thing itself, it will be different from a person to another. So self-motivation, I think it's inner ignition. And sometimes because of the uncertainty that we have right now and the panic that we have, frustrations around us, it depends how we look to the life itself. So self-motivation, why you are doing this, and how you can keep yourself always in that state of mind that you are positive, looking into the positive things in your life. This will keep you always in the game. So self-motivation, I think it's very, 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 very essential and very compelling, to an extent that you have to think positively.
I cannot agree more. And what's beautiful it is, we have to self-discover, right? If I don't know myself very well, I will not know what I need to be self-motivated, to eat better, to exercise, or to read, right? Or even what subjects. But if I, as a boss or as a colleague, put down always, reinforce what needs to be done, it's very challenging and difficult to deal with individual that is just demotivated, not maybe because work is boring, but just because they don't really understand, or they're not bringing their A game to the working environment. So it's going to be hard to motivate someone if they don't even understand themselves, right?
Exactly.
It builds also into something that I am super, super, as you know, interested in, and always inquire more about. And I love your passion and interest in that too, which is the big word leadership, right? So it's like when we do have a better communication, when we understand how to communicate now in different ways with the different tools, like we're doing now virtually versus in person, where we're doing video versus audio, versus live, like right now we're doing impromptu, matter of fact, spontaneously with no preemptive schedule, just to address something, right? And then with the motivation that both of us have, we can then have a key ingredients here so we can be better leaders. So looking at that, I'm seeing a lot of people trying to understand what the leadership is all about and how to lead better, but there are missing components because they again think that it's something outside of them versus that is something with themselves. So what is your thoughts about that specifically as you are stepping more and more into your leadership power?
Look, for me, leadership, in one word, it's about self-awareness. How you're aware about yourself, how you are controlling your emotions, how you are observing your struggles, and how you can overcome all of this in one shot. This is the fundamental, I would say, of the leadership. It's about self-awareness. The second thing I would say, from a leadership point of view, it's about the emotional intelligence, how you can read people, how you can feel people, like this kind of energy, how you can feel people when they're in not that state of mind, how you can speak to them, how you can connect with them, how you can be with them. So it's all about self-awareness and social and emotional intelligence. You can connect massively with people.
I love it. And we have as intellectual and emotional, but social, as you mentioned, which is key. And a lot of people don't even understand. And social intelligence being around for a while, but for many people, that is a new concept because it's not anymore just as emotional intelligence about us, but also now socially, what is going on with others, right? And be able to read the room effectively, be able to understand other people across the room or from different culture, whatever might be the case, so that we can connect better as a result of the way we communicate. And then also the way we impact, influence, and motivate, which really also brings another very essential skill, that aka soft skill, which we're seeing here is also responsibility. And I'm curious because a lot of times leadership goes hands in hand. It's part of the responsibility. It's to be a good leader, right? If we're not being accountable, if we're not being responsible, how then we can expect for others to do the same? And right now we're seeing also that as one of the issues that came out just glaring, right? Because it's easier to hide behind the virtual environment and say we're going to do what we're going to do because boss cannot reach us across the room or bring us in his office, right? It's kind of a little bit more difficult to do that since we're in a virtual world. So responsibility is something that we're seeing also as an ongoing struggle. So I'm curious, what do you see also as a major either issue or solution around how to bring a responsibility more into day-to-day work?
Okay, I think one of the challenges that I see nowadays, it's leaders. I wouldn't say leaders because I don't want to say leaders, but most people, they just very good in producing for themselves only. They know how to produce for themselves only, but leadership and all kind of leadership, it's all about producing more than what you need and what everyone needs. It's just giving it away, helping people, getting out of this ego stuff, getting out of this being selfish alone. So it's all about producing more extra one than what you need, because it's all about reciprocity way, reciprocity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is excellent point. And by the way, we also have Shadi here that is
Our
sharing,
friend.
and he said that you are the source of motivation and he used you as a role model. Absolutely. He definitely gets you motivated. And it's so beautiful when you have a positive energy. And that's why I love working people like yourself and collaborating, because first of all, you're already self-motivated. I don't need to push you to get motivate you, and at the same time you all have a positive outlook. So whatever we need to tackle, even if it's a problem we need to solve, it's a great mindset, because 99% when we have a great mindset, things get easily done, right? And I love you just what you mentioned, that it is the representativity that we need to include, because that brings to another really, really hot topic, and that would be one of the additional soft skills or essential skills, which is teamwork. I wish, honestly, that people spend early time from kindergarten. Remember my kindergarten times to really understand dynamics between different children with different age groups, males versus female, different upbringing, because will save us so much pain, because we're seeing interesting human behavior during challenging time the most, right? When things are all great and dandy, things usually get kind of swept under the rug, and we don't necessarily see much of that. But right now, when everything is around us going through so much change, people resist, and on top of it, they're dealing with some personal and professional issues. We've seen things that really can be detrimental. On the other hand, we see great opportunities there too, right?
Exactly. Isabella, I come back to the same point. It's to build a team spirit, it's all about leadership. I can, it's leadership. It's about doing or creating abnormal results by normal people. So doing such things, it's all about leadership. I can have the best team in the world and the best talent, the best gifts, the best everything in the world, but I cannot utilize them because I create a devastating culture. I create a devastating environment. I killed all the team spirit because I create this kind of negative toxicity inside the culture. So it's all about leaders, how they connect people, how they let them come inside, speak, listen, and the way that you show your care to them, it's totally different. This it's all about leadership to create this kind of team spirit.
I love it, because we have a choice, right? It's either to suffocate others and create and kill the creativity and teamwork and everything else, and being micromanagers, or being just very let's just face it, incompetent, right? Versus working on ourselves, building ourselves personally and professionally, and showing up in the best possible light, and create an environment where not only everybody loves and enjoy, but wanted to also contribute in the best possible way, because that's what teamwork is all about: understanding everybody's strengths, understanding what everybody can contribute, and what they're passionate about, and let them do the job, right?
Exactly. This is the power of leadership. This is the power of leadership, how you understand the key points of your team and how you can like create a homogeneity between the team. Let them, this kind of spirit is going there everywhere, because at this time they will create all kind of miracles if they had this kind of spirit.
I love it. And I love, again, that we're always back to that crown of the leadership. But this is also very interesting, because a lot of problem solving skills are also essential skills. And it's interesting, again, that they're called soft skills, but nothing soft about that. Matter of fact, problem solving can be extremely hard, and it is challenging even for the very seasoned people, right? Even the veterans in industry, just because now we're dealing with so many different generations in workforce, right? So it's like, how do we work on problem solving if we don't have the mindset and we don't have a skill set to help us to look at things from different perspective, to assess situation correct way, and then contribute and insert ourselves in a way that is going to not escalate situation, but actually contribute not only to conversation, but frankly to solution, because complexities we're facing, there's so plenty of them, aren't they?
Yes, and I think it's one of the challenges of this kind of problem solving issues, especially inside when you have this kind of problems on a spot. People, they think in a corrective way rather than thinking in a preventative way. They
Yeah.
think how to correct the problem right now. It's not bad just to correct the problem, but it's the worst thing that you correct the problem and don't think how to prevent it from recurring again. This is the worst thing, because it will appear again. This kind of
Absolutely.
critical thinking, logical thinking, you have to step out and understand what's happening as a zoom out view, and ask yourself why analysis. You have root cause analysis. Just asking yourself, because if you leave it to the day operations, I guarantee you that it will come again. So
Absolutely, you're spot on. And a lot of times what we're doing, we're symptomatically trying to camouflage and deal with symptoms instead of to root causes. And as a result, you're right. All those will come back if it's an incorrect culture, or if it's poor
yes,
leadership, or whatever it might be, or conflict related dynamics, and all of those things, which also really brings another also called soft skill, which is absolutely most fundamentally shown right now in current times that we're in, which is opportunity and skill sets to know how to negotiate, and also how to resolve the conflicts. In order to do that, you mentioned earlier, emotional intelligence, obviously social intelligence, right? But also building the capacity, because stretching ourselves outside of the comfort zone. So it's really interesting to see how negotiation is done during the current times. We used to have a negotiation, I win, you lose. And that was fundamental the most of the time that negotiations were done, or I give you a little piece of something so that I feel, so that I can convince you, that this is the great deal for you, right? Versus to create a win-win. How both of us can win in this situation. How both of us can come up with a solution, not only that's going to help us, but also that can together elevate our game. So negotiation and conflict resolutions, how soft those skills are.
I love this question, especially because I read the for Chris Voss, if you know Chris Voss,
Yes.
never split the difference, and I
Yes.
still do remember some approaches that he took. It's about when you have this kind of negotiation, everyone inside the negotiation, you will see the two parties, everyone wants to win, and the other one he wants to lose. This is this kind of mindset, and to have this kind of mindset, you will lose. So just if you have a negotiation, either your buyer, seller, your whatever you have in your parties, ask yourself and try to separate yourself from the problem and the emotions. This is number one.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
Number two,
in maturity and wisdom, right? And that could come from different generations, because we also had a conversation from talent and leadership standpoint. Somebody doesn't have to be veteran in the business for 40, 50 years to express and exude that level of maturity. We're seeing a lot of younger generation recognizing that very quickly and adopting and adjusting as a result of it. But you spot on, and I love that you reference him and his book. I had a privilege to hear him actually in Clubhouse, and he was using some negotiation tactics
lovely.
that FBI was using, and which is so empowering to see. And it's just so funny. More I listen to him, I have to say, it's like not only I agreed, but I also seen it in like when you can self-assess, right? And see how you behave, right? And call yourself out. And I always believed in win-win, because, and I always believe in collaboration. And I always believed in finding different ways. And it's just like, oh my God, somebody's actually teaching that right now. I was like, yay! About time, right?
Yes. And the funny thing about that, when you go into negotiation, uh, you will let the flow is going organically. But if you focus for a little bit about the other party, why he is asking this question, you have to ask yourself and ask him why he wants this. This thing will let you open an emotional intelligence, I would say, emotional conversation, so you will reach to a win-win situation. But I see it from a negotiation point of view. Everyone is just listening and reply back, just not for understanding why the other party wants, what does he want and why he needs this. And if you reach to this point, you will be able to have a win-win negotiation. This is this.
You're spot on. And as a behavioralist, obviously people's behavior tell us a lot, right? And definitely a lot of that nonverbal, by just looking their physical appearance, the positioning, and nonverbal language. You can tell who is comfortable with that. You can tell who is agreeing. You can tell who is opposing that, yet not necessarily verbalizing, because maybe they don't feel empowered or they don't want to hurt the other side. And it's also very important not to pay attention what is said, but what is not being shared. And also that nonverbal aspects of it, right? Because a lot of times, if you reframe it, if we use different language, if we create a space, right, we'll allow the other person not only to feel more comfortable, but to really genuinely tell us where their pain point is, where their concern is, and what's not working, right? And a lot of that we're not seeing as much as we should. Why? Because a lot of times, again, comes back to not only the leadership skill set, but comes back to comfort level, how well developed we are emotionally, socially, and intellectually. And those are the key things, guys. But with that in mind, obviously all this requires another soft skill, which again, to me, it's a very hard one, and it's an essential one, because a lot of people don't know how to be flexible, because they think, they always ask me to do the favors, or I'm always have to bend backwards for X, Y, and Z. But it's like, in reality, it's a flexibility to look at somebody and be in their shoes, or try to look at things from different point of view, or try to understand it, right? And then when we truly do understand it, then try to figure it out what will be making sense in this occasion. So what do you think about flexibility?
So flexibility, it's the opposite of rigidity. I would say being rigid, and there are many factors on being rigid or not flexible. And I think one of the biggest factor is the culture itself and the way that you used to do things. Because the way we are just a human being, and we are a creature that our mind is framed to oppose any change or any getting out of your comfort zone, of your system thinking you have it in your life. So
Predictability, stability, right? And even if it's not a happy environment, at least we know what is happening, right? It's a control. More than anything, it's a control, right?
yes, this is the biggest challenge. That's why I'm just trying to mention it's all about how you see things and how you are willing to change or adapt your system thinking into different way. It's not easy, and let me admit this, because I used to do this and this kind of rigidity. And if you want to be flexible, you have to listen. You have to listen to understand, not just to argue. Because sometimes the other person, when we speak, they have another valid points or valid questions or valid ways of thinking, and we have a rigid mind. We're not flexible. So giving this kind of flexibility and asking ourselves real questions and being not rigid, I think it's one of the things that will let us be flexible in our life.
Brilliant. I love that. And you know what's also so interesting thing is like also help us out to work under pressure. And right now, that is also the skill that I think is so essential, and it's glaring if people are not having, or if they cannot hone that energetically, because working under pressure, people are, as a result, creating that negative energy we're talking about, friction, more conflict, poor morale, motivation, teamwork. So we see plenty of that, and we need to reverse that trend, right? And because behaviors like that, no matter what situation, they cannot ever be excused, right? And it is our own responsibility how we show up, and making sure that we're showing up in the best light, isn't it?
Exactly. Ali Al Harbi, great information he's saying.
Yes, great to hear from you, Ali. Great to join us. This is totally impromptu. We did not schedule this. We literally were talking about, we're hearing this over and over. And we just wanted to jump in and share a little bit of golden nuggets with all of you. So I'm glad you find it is very useful, which really also bring another really important topic, or one of those top, I would say top 10 soft skills that we so far addressed, the 9 of them. The last one that I would focus on, if you don't mind, it's this decisiveness. And how do we think better and make better decisions? Because right now I feel like we have so many opportunities to make better choices and better decisions, even though we have to make them fast, right? And even though we have to make them almost an ad hoc, right? Because a lot of companies, a lot of situations, we're in the crisis. But in order to do that, if we did all these things prior, isn't it funny how everything builds from each other? If we work on bettering our leadership and leadership style, right? And emotional intelligence, social intelligence. And if we know how to continue to grow and be self-motivated, how effectively to communicate, how to take on responsibility, how to work effectively with a diverse and inclusive way with the different teams, right? Problem solve, how to be flexible, ability to work under pressure, and then also be able to manage not only our time, but also everything, our projects, our deadlines, and then also negotiate and conflict solve. What we can do. We can, as leaders, can make phenomenal decisions.
For me, being decisive, it's all about one thing, I would say. I take opinions of other people. If I'm just, I'm hesitated about something or anything, even at work, even in life, uh, the best thing that I do personally is just taking opinions of people, listen to them, because I'm a person. So taking this kind of the opinions and listening to them, it will open up many things that maybe you cannot see it by yourself. So this kind of reciprocity, being decisive, it's not about being arrogant. Because sometimes I need to be decisive. I am alone. I need to have the decision, and this happening also inside the corporate life. I am the leader. I need to be decisive. It's not about the decision itself. It's about how you can collaborate people and speak to them, listen to them, and you can reach to the best decision. Even you speak about the speed of the decision, how you can be precise. This is all about it.
I love that, because it's a thinking process, right? And how do we include others in conversation? And what are we solving the right problem? And then are we really going the best way about it? I love it. And as a result, are we taking accountability after whatever we decide, and who is going to be accountable for that decision? So you guys see how these soft skills built to something that is absolutely essential and must have, must do, and whatever skill we just mentioned here that you missed out or you need to hone better and do more work on, this is a great opportunity to jump on and figure that out before it's too late, right?
Isabella, I used to be not a good communicator, I want to say it in front of everyone, but since that time that I took a decision to work on my soft skills, to work on my speaking ability, to work on my listening ability, to invest more time on myself, to invest more time on my personal development, to invest more money even on being coached and mentored. These kind of things, it's leverage. I would say my 34 years that I lived, in 1 year, I transformed drastically my life, because the attitude and my way of communication, it's totally transformed. That's why I'm begging everyone, work on yourself. Trust me, it's all about time. Don't think and don't be captivated only in one area in your life, and don't just look into the technical side in your life. I'm telling you, your soft skills will take you to places that will amaze you.
That is such a beautiful advice, and I'm so glad you shared that. And it is for someone, again, who is just openly, transparently sharing his journey and how he, in 1 year, made amazing leaps and bounds in his growth. So imagine if you're doing incremental growth every single year and then constantly pushing yourself forward, how far you can go and how much more you can achieve, right? And how happy and more fulfilled life will be. Because now you feel not only you, because you can connect better, right? And you have not only something to say, but you also have a voice to ask the question. And you have much more opportunities right now as a result of it. So guys, again, pay attention, check out some of these 10 of these soft skills or essential skills that we're actually talking about. And we look forward for more impromptu lives with some hot topics to address. Anything else you want to share in closing?
Thank you so much for your amazing time, and it's a pleasure to be with you on your show. I'll see you again.
Absolutely. And again, we'll be hot topics addressed soon, impromptu and different time and different place. But guys, stay tuned.
Before we close, please, one question.
Yes.
I want to ask Eddie why he's still awake, because it's now too late, and also Ali. So
I guess they are super jazzed and excited watching what's going on in social media, and they could not miss this. So I'm so glad, Shadi and Ali, you are joining us, and thank you again for your support on this impromptu short live.
Thank you, Ali. He came back. Thank you, Ali. Thank you. See you.
Shukran. Shukran.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.